Anne-Sophie, great that you wanted to have this conversation. So, yeah, we're just exploring, like if you would be interested in having your portrait painted and, why that would be valuable or could be valuable for you. So, what do you like to be seen?
That's a good question. I'm working on it. I have to say that it's not absolutely yes. It's I'm in Geneva, Switzerland. So, and I'm in finance. So in this job, we learn to be discreet and not being seen, and not so you have to be like very we never know, and we have to everything is very soft and discreet. We never talk about the name of clients. We there's a lot of things that stay a little bit covered, if I can say that this way. So it's quite an event for me to step forward with this, the fact that I create this academy with my daughter, and we want to educate people on finance, and especially women. So it's, how could I say that? It's like a huge step for me. Starting doing some podcast or some, reel or whatever, all those social network where you have to talk about yourself. So I first started, let's say, a year and a half ago, probably maybe 2 years ago, to write things like for in LinkedIn, and they were personal, they were authentic, they were really things that happened to me. It was not a story that I make up. I really talking about my life, and but it was just writing, with a picture and then writing, and it's been, I had very good feedback. Like everybody was, even from not only for women, because I'm talking a lot to women, but even for men, they were telling me, oh, I love what you say, it's so authentic, it like, oh, I didn't know that happened to you, and and then yeah, I was like, okay, well, they like what I write, and it's very personal, of course. It's my experience, and that's it. So I did a little bit step. Now I have to go to the step of being in a scene as a video, or maybe painting.
And have you ever been like in real life on a stage? Do you like being on a stage?
Yeah, I mean, in small stage for now, not like the big one where like we had where we met together, not those big ones yet. But I did. I mean, I'm already being used to talk in public, not huge public, but in public.
And and are you afraid of being seen like privately, so not in your job, but just by your partner or your daughter or your friends?
No, on personal level, there's absolutely no problem on that. It's more on the professional side.
And
The impression that you have to be, enough, you have to be competent, you have to be at a certain level, and then each time you reach a level, you go to the next one, and up to the next one. So this is more on the professional way, and personal, it's not a problem.
That's
I'm
nice.
more, yeah, in personal life, I'm more the one that take the whole space. But when it comes to my job, I'm like, okay, I have to pay attention. I have to, all these things that short me a little bit.
And you like taking space in your private life?
Well, I always been I'm an hyperactive kid. Even though at that time we were not putting those kind of words, but I'm an hyperactive one, and I'm still an hyperactive. I'm doing a lot of things. I have thousands of ideas. I want to do thousands of things. I have an energy that most of the people said to me, how can you have so much energy? Aren't you ever tired sometimes? And I'm like, no, no, because I love life. I love doing things. I love creating. When things started to come a little bit on, always the same, I'm getting bored. So I need action. So that's in that way that I'm taking space, if I could say.
What are you most enthusiastic about at the moment that you're creating?
Well, I think this is the program for education, for financial education that we are building with my daughter. Not only because it's with my daughter, of course, because it came later on. Those programs have been running since 2018 with small groups. We were like, always 8 to 10 people in the group, especially women. I was doing, at the beginning, I was only doing for women. And so yeah, it's how we did it. And then I wanted to scale up because I think there's a lot of women that needs to be helped, and they need to find somebody that they can talk to. So that's why also I talk about my life, because it can relate to a lot of women. I've been divorcing, raising my kids by myself. I created my company. So I mean, there's a lot of things that I can share with my real life. And so yeah, I think that's where I get the juice. I mean, whenever somebody comes, or any woman that comes, and then they are happy, or they come back, I said, I never understood why I was like that, and because of what you explained, now I know, and it changed my life. Well, it make my day. I'm like, it gave me even more energy to keep on, and to expand. So now I'm like really in that energy right now.
So you get most energy, you're most enthusiastic about sharing your creation with others and creating value for them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's nice. And so have you ever had your portrait painted?
Except from how do you call the guys in the street, that give you there's a name where
Caricature.
yeah. So except from that, no.
And what would interest you in having a painting? Why do you think that could be an interesting experience?
Maybe I think sometimes you don't see yourself as others seeing you. At least that's what I have the impression, since now I'm listening to what people are telling me about what they feel when I'm here, what the feedback that I have. Usually, you said, yeah, okay, but then for 2 or 3 last year, I've decided to listen. And then when somebody give you a feedback, especially when it's a positive one, well, take it. Why shouldn't I take it? And at the beginning, and it still make happen to me, I still have this impression sometimes again, is that when people said something about what they feel about me, what they have the impression of, sometimes I'm like, am I really like that? It could, and I'm taking on a positive side, okay? Because of course, negative, first, not a lot of people telling you negative, they just run away. But those that give you positive feedback, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm like this, okay.
And did I understand you correctly? In before you found it hard to accept positive feedback?
Yeah. Yes.
Why was that?
Well, probably because in fact, it was sort of probably a sort of a a barrier or a wall that I, set up around me, because from what I've been through, I didn't want to go again, and I want to protect myself. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if what they say is really true or not. And I was like, a bit of stepping back, I would say. So yes, I think that's how I can explain it.
Do you feel that when your daughter was growing up, did you give her enough positive feedback?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. I always try to make them confident. I have two daughters, so they're very close in age. I think I gave them. We should ask her next time. We should ask her. She would be better answering than I do. But I would say that I was always pushing them on a positive way, because in a way I'm an hyper positive person. I always see the positive in everything, and I'm not saying the sometimes I'm more so dynamic in the energy that sometimes. So some people that are working with me said, you know what, slow down, let's see. Because me, I would be like, going for it at first.
Mm-hmm. Love them. Yeah, I'm just exploring this conversation
Yeah.
because like my whole thing is that it's not like a coaching session that I have like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is the goal or we have to improve something, or
Mm-hmm.
it's really just about getting to know each other better and and exploring this topic, also a little bit of being seen, because that's
Mm-hmm.
that's what a portrait is about. And for me, the most valuable would actually not be sort of like that it's a nice portrait and other people can see you. Of course, that's also
Mm-hmm.
nice, but it's mainly that the portrait can be a process and a way of looking differently at yourself or seeing
Mm-hmm.
different sides of yourself, or what you
Yeah.
said, like how do others see me, and what's what's something in others' perception that's not true, or what's something in others' perception that is true but I didn't realize.
Mm-hmm.
That's more yeah, the process of these
Mm-hmm.
paintings.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, when if you would have said, okay, if you would say first, okay, let's do a portrait, I probably would have said no, because why would I put a portrait of me, on my wall? And I'm still like, okay, it's like a little bit of a, maybe the first impression is that's what, I mean, let's say, king and queen are doing, the portrait, and they put it on their chateau, and so why would I myself, my little Anne-Sophie, would do that? You see what I mean? So that would be I would say the first reaction was or will be that. And but as you are also exploring, and I think it's interesting to be part of your process of evaluating, because when you do that, I probably will evaluate myself too, on the way I see things, on the way that I'm doing things. So I said, you know what, I'm happy to participate, for what you are doing. Plus, I think creation is, I think it's fantastic. It's how do you call that in English? A God gift, Not everybody can do that. I mean, if you would see me painting, my God, you're gonna be running away.
Well, well, I think if it's a disservice if you completely overlap creativity with being like artistic, because
Mm-hmm.
there's many super creative people who don't create art, but they create very beautiful or very functional or very, yeah, like I think I love creativity,
Mm-hmm.
and I love, and also in an art context, but also, if somebody comes up with a very creative business idea, I can find that way more inspiring and creative than an artist who makes a painting that's nice, but there's nothing much there. It's just, okay, it's a nice painting, but that's it. I mean, somebody coming up with a genius business plan can be way more creative and interesting in my opinion. So yeah, I also just love all kinds of creating. Yeah, it's also like what you said about what like a painting of yourself is strange. That's also like what I'm exploring now, because in the beginning when I thought I want to paint portraits for people, I thought like who nobody wants to commission a portrait of themselves. It's sort of like I'll have a portrait painted of a loved one, and then it was interesting that like the first person I was like, can I paint a portrait for you? The conversation that came out of it was such an interesting conversation, because it was really like, why would I have a portrait of myself? What, like, is that like egotistical? What does that say about me?
Yeah.
And why would I look at myself? And is that so? It was very interesting that it just, this whole process of like having a portrait of yourself painted, like this whole process that it can trigger was so interesting. And then also later when I was introducing this idea in the course we also both attended, I was also surprised that there were also a lot of people who were like, yeah, of course I want a painting of myself. Yes. It was like really interesting, like, oh, there's actually also people for who it's like an interesting process, and for others, yes, of course. And so it's yeah, when I started this, I thought it would be mainly focused, maybe people want a portrait of their kid or of their parent, but actually, yeah, this whole angle of like a portrait of yourself, yeah, it's a very interesting
Well, probably
process.
also, we put our picture on our, for example, for WhatsApp, you put a picture. If you have your portrait in a lot of different places that we use for our social network. So could also be something. Okay, instead of having a normal picture, why not putting the portrait? Because that could be a way. That could be a
Yeah,
use, So and then it's there all the time.
yeah, it's
And it's also a way to start conversation with people, because if it's not just a regular picture, they wouldn't say, "Oh, why did you do that?" And "Oh, I like this and that." I don't know. It gives food for conversation. Also, I think.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I also find what will be interesting for me is also to see how people use it, because everybody will use it differently. It's,
Yeah.
some people might, use it everywhere, put it on the social media, the website, it's because it really represents something beautiful and it's something different. And other people, I've discussed this option with somebody, sort of maybe we could like not show it to anybody. It's really, I paint it for you, and we're the only two people who will ever see this painting, and you will only look at it in private, because it's something for yourself, just a gift to yourself, but also just a mirror for yourself. It's yeah, it's like, for me, like, it's all fine. That's the personal process of the person,
Yeah.
how they want to use it. Mm, and yeah, I'm just like, it's like, when it comes out of nowhere, it's a little bit of a blunt question. We will find out how it ties back to this portrait. So, like, the blunt question, it's like, if I would ask you, like, are you ready to die?
To die.
Are you ready to die?
Probably not, because I think there's still a lot of things that I haven't done that I need to do on this planet. in my mission. I would say in my mission. So yeah, I would feel sorry to go now.
Hmm.
Also because I think it took me time to really what do you say, like a flower to bloom, is that it, to I've been it took me a long time, and I have the impression that it's something very recent, the last maximum the last 5 years or so, for it's a process that I've been really working on myself since 2019, after broke up with my partner at that time. That has been really, really, really hard. It's like hitting a wall, in front of your face. And then I decided to start working on me, saying why this is happening, and then so I'm in this process of doing a different uh, program, like the one with Success Resources, or with Aaron and Robert, and the extreme one. So for me, you see here, I'm starting to have the impression that now I can have a voice, I can be seen, and that I can be of help for people. And this is something that I really want to do. So for me, it would be really too early to go.
It's two beautiful things. Like it wouldn't. It's beautiful because you feel your flower has been opening. That's sort of
Yes.
like a process of the last 5 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
I would feel that for a lot of people, it's like if you've never experienced that you feel like I'm really becoming who I want to be. If you've
Yeah.
never experienced that, then it's like if you're gonna die, then it really sucks because like, hey. So I'm really glad, like,
Took me more than 50 years to realize, and now I need some 50 years to use it.
yeah, but it's all, I mean, it's great. So like, I sort of felt the same a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little bit different, but also sort of like, I'm good, but like, there's more that I want to do. It would be a shame if I would go now. It's yeah, so beautiful that you want to share that process with people
Mm-hmm.
and give back. And was there, because you say 5 years, was there a moment 5 years ago? Because that's already after you separated from your partner,
Well,
was there?
it really started when we get the separation, because I've been, I would say, it happens beginning of 2019, and then I went down, but down like to the deepest and deepest of the earth for like 3 months, and then people around me started to say, you know what, he doesn't deserve it, and then you have to, I mean, there's so many things that you are they were very positive and loving and caring, and so, and also I have two daughters, they are today 24 and 26, so that I've been raising since they are 3 and 4 by myself. So at one point you're like, okay, that's not what I want to show them for life. So you have to fight, and you have to do something to understand what happened, not what happened with him, but what happened with you. Why didn't you saw that? I mean, it was not what you really wanted. And the one of things I really realized up to that is that all my life I've been a people pleaser, wanted to have everybody happy around me, and I never put myself in the middle of it.
Mhm.
I was like leaving myself aside all the time. And that's the big shift, in fact. I understand that now I have to be happy to be with myself, spending time alone with me. I love it. And this is a big step. You don't have to be always with people around you. And choose what makes you really happy. And yeah, the background of that was I have two daughters, that are studying, they're going to be, 20 and so, they have to have an example that is not a depressing mother taking some pills because the guy left, There's much more than that in our life. And there's so many people in this planet that you can meet and share with. Here we go. That's where we are now. I mean, that's what we're doing. And this is the kind of things I love, because there's so many interaction that we can have and learning from the other one. So, yeah, it's maybe a long answer, but
So beautiful. And do you feel that how do you look back at that dark period of 3 months and the breakup before that from your perspective now? How do you look at that period now?
Oh, I'm very serene about it, and I really, in fact, I'm happy that it happened, because it finally make me back on I would say back on the good path. It was like, you are going to go this way, and that's not the way. You should go this way, and then somebody, the event was there to put me back on track for what my mission is. And you know what, at that time, if you would have asked me, what's your vision, your mission, what do you want to do in life, what are you dreaming of, I was unable to answer anything. It was crazy when I started this process of self-development and programs and so on. The question was always, what is your dream? And I'm like, I don't have any dream. So I had to work on myself to say, okay, now put you in the middle, because I was not taking care of myself, and I was not taking myself into consideration in everything I was doing. I was there for my family. I was there for my daughters. I was there for my job. I was there for my client. I was there for everybody. My friends, they knew they could call me anytime. I was there. I would cross, the country to help somebody that would be depressing. So I was like this. And myself, and asking, do I want to do that? Never ask myself. Now it's different, because now I'm really doing, well, sometimes the back one, the back story comes back, but I'm really, really working on it not to, and trying to have a, breathe and give an answer in 24 hours, or wait a little bit to give an answer. Make sure you really want to do that. And so I'm more careful with myself now.
And what's your dream now?
Oh, my dream. Oh my God, I have thousands of dreams. Are you sure you're ready? We need an hour now.
The biggest one. Well,
the biggest one, it's so you have this question, the program of the academy, okay, educating women in finance. And if I make it a little bit bigger, I want to educate kids. So I would like to give them, like the maybe a camps in summer where we can work on not only what is education, money, but self-development, those things that I didn't learn. I was taught when I was a kid that I needed to take care of my brother and sister, but nobody told me that I should take care of myself. So, trying to help those kids to get some clue when they're young. So that's one thing. Then for now, probably 15 years at least, I have this dream of building a foundation for avoiding as much as possible loneliness when you're getting old. Because, seniors, and I've seen that in my job, people that have a lot of money, and it's not because they have a lot of money that when they're getting old, they have a life that is just fantastic. They have money on the bank account, but they're alone. And it's very sad, because here we need to do something. And I really have to, I really like to work on the foundation. The name of the foundation is Happy Senior Foundation. The name has been there for more than 15 years. I have this vision really, and I want to also work on, connecting generation, because I think older people have so much to give to younger ones, and even though it's not your grandchild or you can still have a nice connection, and it helps, and you're getting older in a better shape with less illness.
Yeah.
So that's the big picture. In between, there's more stuff, but it will
Okay.
take.
Okay. And what draws you to loneliness or helping people with loneliness? I also feel there's a connection with what you said, that you are, because on the one hand you say I want to help people with loneliness because it's very hard thing for people, and at the same time you're saying that part of your process is actually spending more time alone with yourself.
But if you look on the side of longevity, longevity is a multiple aspect.
Yeah.
Not only, okay, you need money to do things in your life, but that's one thing. But the rest is you need to be in a good health. And to be able to be in a good health, it goes with connecting people. If you're living alone and you don't see anybody for days, and then or you don't have any connection with people, it's so sad, because your brain is starting to shut down. And then if you don't move, if you stop moving because you don't have anybody to go for a walk with, then your health is getting bad. And I think all those things, there's a lot of things now on longevity that we see that gives tools, and some people need to be helped on that, because they don't know, or they are not aware of this, and they just take it as granted that they're sick and old and they don't move. But no, there's another way to do things.
So for you, this time alone is not necessarily, there are more short periods than longer periods. Or is time for yourself not necessarily that you're spending time alone? Is it more like that your
It
focus is more on your own needs and not just on others?
But that's definitely sure, absolutely. And the complementary is that, for me, being on this planet and having no connection with other people, I mean, it doesn't worth it. I mean, we're here to connect. We're here. And the problem today is that with all the social network, we think we are connected, but there's no connection. It's like, so I would like to have real connection, sharing playing cards, sharing just, a glass of champagne and a little something, going to the theater and, having this occasion to get connection, but not anything hyper fancy, normal stuff, but being in a group and having the impression that you have people that care for you also, because we all need that. And when you are getting old, and some people don't have any kids, so here it's, for them it's more, even more terrible. But some people have kids, but it doesn't mean that they see them,
Yeah.
because they have their own life, they're far away, and then, so what's your life, it's, there's something missing.
It's beautiful dreams. Uh, it's great that you found these things that you're very passionate about.
Mm. Yeah, it's but it's a process, you um it took time, but I'm clearer and clearer and clearer, and I'm sure that will happen. I'm really convinced, but step by step.
So, and how do you feed that connection with yourself? That you explain that you found why that's really important, to keep a connection with yourself and to feed that. So what are things you do now?
For one of the thing is for now more than we are 26, more than 13 years. Every year at least I'm taking 1 week off, doing some yoga and having out of connection with, as much as I can, no connection with my telephone, and taking time to read, to write. um, it's my I would say this process now is really has saved my life, and I've been practicing yoga. I also been training I'm a trainer, I'm a teacher of yoga, and it's been for me what really helped me to keep the stress down. So I like to have those moments, even in the morning, to just just sit there and let your mind go and stay there for 15, half an hour, whatever, just to let your mind sending you stuff
Mm.
and ideas. So that's really part of the process. I need to have this those moments and of just when you do, at least I'm doing yoga, Kundalini yoga. This practice is almost, you have your eyes closed. Once you know the movement you have to do, you close your eyes and then you are with yourself and you do it. And it's really a process where you have to listen to yourself. So at the beginning, nothing happened, but by practicing, you have things that are coming out. You have ideas coming. I have some ideas sometimes that pop up like this. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. And but you have to calm your mind down. So I'm trying to really be careful about this. When I always notice that when I'm not doing it for a while, if I'm just wake up, do getting dressed and then go to work and then run all the time and so on, something will happen to me. There will be a bad things, like I will make mistake, I will go with the wrong person, I will connect with the wrong client, all this. So I've noticed it several times. So now I know when sometimes I see myself in that uh, process, I'm like, okay, tomorrow, let's stop. I need to stop. I need to take my half an hour in the morning to just, we could say meditate, but it could simply be just be with myself, you know?
That's a very powerful thing to do. I think it's
Mm.
really hard. I find it really hard to just to not do something, also not meditate or something, because
Mm-hmm.
then, but just to like not do anything for a while. It's great to do that.
It is really, and really changed my everything, my awareness with people. Because if you just in the process of doing things, doing, you never have this time to step back and listen to yourself, in fact. And then when you meet people and you listen to yourself because you are connected with yourself, I would say, I'm convinced that that's really my conviction, that I will make more mistake in the relation. Not going for absolutely being in relation with a person where finally, if I would listen to myself, and I'm not going as a partner. I'm talking about friends. I'm going people you're connecting with, work. All this connection, and I would say that you make more real connection when you can be, you slow down your mind and then you just see what happened, what you feel, because your body is talking to you. We never listen to our body, but we know that the body is talking. And it took me really long time to listen to my body. And I would say that sometimes I'm not listening, but it always something happening that just remind me, you're not listening to me. Boom.
Yeah.
So it helps, and it's very easy. You just wake up. I have a little very little garden. So what I do is that I sit in front of my window, depending on the weather, of course. Sometimes I'm out, sometimes I'm just inside my house, and then I look at the garden, just sit there and let it go. Close my eyes, and at the beginning it's very bizarre because you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing nothing, and nothing happened. Okay, but then I go to 15 minutes. Then I went also, several times I go to half an hour, and then you go in sort of another, I don't know, another dimension. You're just so relaxed, everything, because at the beginning your head is like running. I have thousands of ideas, like the 5, 7, 10 minutes to start when I start. So many ideas that comes, and then slowly it gets less and less.
It's I've that I've had this recently also with the portraits that I'm painting. That's sort of why I want to do something different with the portraits, because sometimes I spend like an hour just looking at the painting, especially at night when it's a little bit dim, so you can't properly see it. It's because a painting is different than a photograph. It's because your brain, like a photograph, it's all there. But with the painting, your brain still has to construct parts of the image. And yeah, sometimes I feel, oh, time just flies by, and I've just been looking at this painting, and sometimes I've painted people from tribes with a very, maybe also because they're very still rooted and earthed, and I can just look at this painting for like an hour, and it feels like I have a real connection with them. But it's strange because it's just a piece of canvas with some paint, but I feel that I'm getting like a real connection, and that I'm seeing and keep seeing layers, and it's and when my mind just goes very calm. So I think that's why like a painting can be a very beautiful thing. Like if you look at your own portrait and people have the same experience of like seeing all these layers and becoming calm. I think a portrait can have can be a very beautiful way to experience more of a connection with yourself. But by just but not by meditating or doing anything, just by actually not doing anything except just looking at it and just experiencing what that looking brings.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for the conversation.
You're very welcome. You know a lot of things now.
And so I hope we'll talk soon, and
sure.
Thank you again.